Hello, everybody. A very warm welcome to this live chat about designing an offer your clients will love with me, Laura Wilkes, and my guest today, Rachael Roberts. Now, if you haven't met Rachael before, hello, Rachael. Rachael is the founder of Earn, Learn, Thrive in ELT. She's the business coach and mindset coach behind that business and has helped hundreds of educators launch and grow their businesses. So I'm really happy that Rachael's with us today because we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of an offer, which of course Rachael will be talking about at Make It Happen in October on the 4th. And we've also got a little bit of a VIP event on the 5th. That's happening in Warsaw. And we'll talk about that too. Hi, Rachael. So nice to meet you here on a Friday. Thank you for spending some time with me.
Hi, Laura. Lovely to see you. And hi to everybody who's watching us live or indeed later on replay.
Indeed. And we're going to be answering your questions as we go through live. So please interact with us. I've dropped some comments already in the chat there. It's lovely to actually hear what you do, where you are, and to ask your questions because we really love that interaction. We want to help you with questions that you have to help build your business. Now, I think the best place for us to start today, Rachael, is the kind of demystifying what an offer is, because there's many different business models out there. And I was actually looking at the quiz on your website that covers a few of those as well. Could you give an insight into what an offer could look like?
Yeah, I think that's a really good place to start, actually, because it's a bit of a jargon term, really, offer. I mean, it's handy because it's a shortcut, but it can leave people kind of thinking, I'm a teacher. I offer lessons. Is that not, everything that we need to know? And so how I would sum it up is I think an offer should be more than just kind of, I'm a teacher and I offer lessons, because it needs to be really tailor-made to the needs of your particular client. But there could be all sorts of different elements to that offer. So the guide that you mentioned, Laura, which has 4 quizzes embedded in it, looks at sort of 4 of the most popular offers, which is one-to-one, or in fact, what I talk about very often is what I call one-to-one hybrid, which is where you include one-to-one live lessons with asynchronous elements as well to create a more kind of complete package. There's running a group program, there's having a membership, there's having like an asynchronous digital course or some kind of self-published materials or book, or any combination of those that suits your clients.
So really, it can be a variety. It can look like a variety of ways. Really, there's no one fixed way, is what you're saying. There's a lot of flexibility, and within that, I wonder, because I do see some businesses who do have like one overarching offer, but also have a few like digital products that go with it. I guess myself included. I have a major program that I run for new podcasters, but I'm also working on some digital downloads that people could start with just for guidance. Is that how it can work? Am I doing something wrong? I guess I'm asking you.
No, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. But it's about being really clear about how those things fit together, basically. So, lots of people, I think you should ideally have like one main offer that is the sort of key thing, because my experience is that, if you're splitting your attention too much over lots of different things, it can just kind of get a bit confusing for potential clients, and they're not quite sure which to go for or what's for them or what to do first. But I think if you have like these smaller offers, they can often act as a kind of bridge to working with you. So people might do those smaller offers first. And then you have the opportunity to show them, what it's like in a small way to work with you. And then they might move on to your main offer, or it could be a follow-up to your main offer, because, you've spent a lot of time and effort getting these clients in. They've worked with you. They love what you're doing. And then you've got nothing else to offer them. So then you could have what's known as more of like a ladder of offers, where people are sort of, beginning at one point and then doing several things with you. So there are lots of different ways of doing it, and different things will work for different people with different businesses. I don't think there is a one size fits all.
That's good to know. I love that ladder analogy that you just used there, because I use something similar when I'm thinking about what I'm offering my clients. I think of it like stepping stones across a water, a river, and those little pieces can be things that enable them to take a bigger leap and a bigger, I guess it's a huge investment. Essentially, in the case of my programs, it's quite a significant investment for my clients. And so having those smaller pieces to kind of let them experience working with you, and also test out ideas and see if the products you offer are right for them before committing not only their money, but potentially their time to something a bit chunkier, I think it's a good way just to help them across the water rather than expecting them to take a massive leap onto a stone that's really far away. That's how I kind of vision it. But I like your ladder. I think that works also well.
I like your stepping stones.
Brilliant. Welcome everybody who's joining us today. I can see Ola is in the comments. Ola is one of the people who will also be presenting along with Lauren Martin at Make It Happen in Warsaw. And our chat today that Rachel and I are having is a preview to Rachel's workshop, which kicks off that whole event in talking about designing your offer. So we're just warming you up really today, but feel free to comment along, hit the emojis. I love to see people actually interacting and listening and ask questions as we discussed today. So Rachel's gone over the different things that an offer can look like. I think now it'd be good for us to kind of move on to what makes a good offer. Like, what are some of the key ingredients business owners need to think about when they're designing their offer?
So I think that I talk about this all the time, and I sometimes think I must really bore people banging on, but it all comes back down to who exactly your clients are. In other words, your niche. And by niche, I don't just mean something like English for IELTS. It needs to be more sophisticated than that, because the better you understand your clients, the better you're going to be able to create something which really kind of fits them like a glove. And that's what enables you to stand out much more in what can be a crowded marketplace. And it's also what makes people basically take that step to buy, because they see, tick, 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 this really is somebody who really understands me. So you want to be thinking about, what they actually need English for on a daily basis, not just business English. Yes, that's quite right, Anna. I am going to say it. And what kinds of things also trip them up? So, if we're talking about English language teaching, obviously it doesn't have to be English language. Could be teacher training, could be another language. But what kinds of issues do they have? Maybe it's talking on the phone, for example. And also, what trips them up in terms of actually making progress? What are the things that they've tried before, and why haven't those worked for them, and how could your offer be different and help them to overcome those barriers? And those are the kinds of things I think that go into creating a really sort of an offer that's going to get great results, which will then of course give you great testimonials, and then you'll get more clients.
This reminds me a lot of what Ola was talking about earlier this week when we did the live about the sales magic, which if you haven't watched that, you can catch the replay for folk who are watching today. That's on the YouTube channel. It's also on LinkedIn. But it sounds so, you make it sound so simple, because it is about human interactions and understanding who's kind of stood in front of you and listening to their problems and understanding that. And that was something that Ola talked about when it comes to sales, like really listening to your clients in terms of what their needs are. Do you feel there's that kind of there's that link there? Am I interpreting this right, that it is all about just knowing the human?
Yeah, totally. And I remember when, Ola said that, I mean, we've had this conversation, before, Ola and I, we are very aligned, I think, in the way that we approach marketing and sales. And, lots of teachers say to each other, and to me sometimes, I'm not really cut out for marketing and sales, I'm a teacher. And I always say, actually, a really good empathetic teacher is in a great position to be brilliant at marketing and sales, because it's pretty much the same thing. It's about really understanding like where the gap is for that person, and then helping them to fill that gap. So it applies to creating your offer, it applies to marketing, it applies to sales. It's like, running through like a stick of rock, writing in a stick of rock.
It's always so easy, isn't it, to lay out, but it's quite difficult to put into practice, isn't it? And that's something I've experienced as a business owner myself. It does take some time to kind of refine these things, but I find having those conversations and getting that clarity on your niche makes so many things fall into place. And that's why at Make It Happen, we're opening the whole day with your first session, right? About getting this foundation right. And then from which we can talk about how to build your brand and talk about the value you offer, knowing who your audience is, knowing how to message your offer, and then knowing how to sell it. Hello to everybody, by the way, in the comments. My comments is just refreshed and I can just see like a whole rush of comments appearing on my screen, which is so wonderful to see you all here. Hello, Nicola from Lexical Ship, and I can see Marta joining us, as well as Mohit, hello, and Anna, who are saying things like niche. I knew she was going to say that. Yeah, you saw Anna's comment before I did. I was like, oh, but now I'm seeing it. That's brilliant. Please, obviously, use this opportunity to share about your businesses. This is also a great opportunity for you to network with fellow edupreneurs and business owners or people who are about to start their business journey. So please make the most of the comments as well to say hello to each other and to say what you do, as well as ask Rachel and I questions about obviously the topic for today and Make It Happen. That's happening in Warsaw on the 4th of October. Lovely. So Rachel's covered what an offer is, what it can look like, and the key ingredients that go into it. I wonder if you could just give us maybe an example, just like a little case study on what it can look like. And I realize it's quite difficult because there's loads of different business models, but could you give us like a little practical example of what an offer can look like in a day-to-day scenario?
So, okay. So, I mean, maybe the easiest thing actually is to talk about like my main offer, which is my group program Designed to Flourish. So that is, and I'll kind of explain some of the thinking behind it because I think that's helpful. So it has quite a large, maybe a third of like what you get is a recorded course. And there's about 16 or 17 hours sort of in small 20-30 minute videos. And that's kind of like the information that you need. And I've done it that way. Originally, I did it live. I think the first 4 or 5 times I ran it, I did it live, which enabled me to refine what I was offering, which, by the way, is something I recommend to anybody out there who's thinking of creating a digital offer, whether that's part of a bigger program or standalone. It's really important to try things out live. So I did it live for a while, but then, you know, my clients are very busy, probably your clients are too. And so being able to access that stuff when they want, being able to go into my platform and search for keywords and bring up the relevant videos, you know, that fits them very well. And then we have the group coaching, which has come about because I know that they get so much from being with other freelance professionals teaching business owners and, you know, bouncing ideas off each other and seeing that, you know, they have similar challenges and so on. But they also needed more personalized support. And so that's why we have personalized feedback through like the milestone tasks during the course and why we have one-to-ones built in. So you can see how it's kind of all created around the needs of the client ultimately. Does that make sense, Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just wondering, like, what your journey was like in finding this offer. Was it quite easy to come up with, if you don't mind sharing? Because I know you worked with your ideal clients for a long time because you were in ELT previously. So having those interactions and conversations, did you have a light bulb moment, or was it something that evolved over time?
So I think it did. It was a bit of both, really. And that's a very interesting question because I think, you know, yes, I had been having these conversations for a long time in a kind of unofficial way because I've been involved for a long time and I was mentoring people, you know, unofficially. And then when I started my business, initially I thought I was mostly going to be life coaching. And then I realized over the course of probably about 6 months that actually for a lot of people, the biggest problem was quite simply that they were working way too hard and earning way too little. And that most of the, you know, help and advice I was giving people was around their business. At which point I had that light bulb of, oh, what I'm actually doing is business coaching. With some mindset coaching in there as well. And, you know, that's when I started saying that's what I'm doing.
Brilliant. It's so wonderful, like, to hear what your journey is like. So I think all of our journeys in setting up our businesses and our offers all look quite different, don't they? It's no kind of one fixed path, but that was lovely that you were able to give us a window into that. I can see lots of people who are in our comments, and I'm trying to keep up and write and talk at the same time, which I'm terrible at. So I'm just going to verbally respond to some folk. Nicola, that's brilliant. If you are on our wait list for the Make It Happen event, where Rachael will be talking about how to build your offer or how to refine it if you already have something that you're working with, at Make It Happen in Warsaw, along with me, Ola, and Lauren, who will take you on a journey of helping put some structures in place that will help you take action to grow your business. Then you can obviously get those tickets for that event if you're on our wait list. I put that link in the chat way earlier before I started this live, so you may need to scroll back a bit to get that link. Tomorrow we're sending out another reminder about the very early bird offer, which includes the day and the VIP event if you want to participate in that too. So I hope I've answered people's questions who are asking about the tickets and availability for the tickets for Make It Happen. I can also see Jeff. Thanks so much, Jeff, for your comment about the point about being an empathetic teacher and how we're already set up to be successful in running businesses, in talking to people and in understanding what they need and telling them about offer, because we believe and we know that it serves them and we offer that value. That's so wonderful. I think maybe, Jeff, you watched the replay of Ola's live earlier this week, or maybe you were there as well, because that was something that Ola talked about. Jeff actually asks if we could answer this question, Rachael. How can you overcome the mindset of these words of like sales and marketing? And I know we're not talking about that so much today, but the idea of sales and marketing yourself and talking about your offer to people that you potentially haven't met, it can be quite negative. It can have a lot of negative connotations. I think I hear people saying, oh, sales, it sounds so sleazy, or there's classic sales techniques that are just not very nice. And I think that comes from people probably being burned themselves in having bad sales experiences. How can we overcome that mindset?
So, I mean, this is what I spent half my life doing, is trying to help people overcome this mindset. And I think, you're absolutely right. Of course, there is some very, unpleasant, unethical stuff out there in terms of sales and marketing. However, it absolutely does not have to be like that. And I think reframing it, and this is what I try to do in a lot of my content, and obviously when I'm coaching as well, helping people to see that you're not, if you sell something to someone or you market something to someone, you're not trying to take something from them. You're actually offering them hence the word offer, but you're offering them an opportunity to achieve something or change something that they really want. So we're not doing them any favors by never mentioning what we do, and keeping it all really quiet and, hiding our light under a bushel. That also doesn't mean we have to go around going, God, I'm just so wonderful, because it's not about us any more than it is when you're a teacher. People, when you first start teaching, you feel really self-conscious standing in front of a class. And very quickly you realize that it's not about you, it's about them, and you're there to facilitate their learning. And it's the same thing with marketing and selling. It's not about you. So don't worry about it. It's about shining a light for them and helping them to make a good decision that will pay off for them.
And just like teaching, with practice, it does get easier.
Mm-hmm.
I found that, like, the first few conversations I had, or the first things I put out about marketing my offer, I was a bit, oh goodness, what will people think? Have I framed it correctly? Am I boasting? Does this sound okay? Or are people going to be a bit cringe about it? But it took a bit of practice for me to get comfortable with that. Just like you mentioned in the classroom when I started my teaching career, it takes a bit of practice, doesn't it, to kind of get out your own head and not be thinking about the next thing or what people are thinking or if you're being assessed, that sort of thing, but actually just to put the focus on how are people responding to it. Yeah, and that takes out a lot of the sting.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Thank you so much, Jeff, for that question. It's lovely to kind of explore these things, because I was actually just about to ask Rachael, what are some of the challenges she notices clients face in actually building their offer and putting it together? And I think you've actually hit a huge one there in asking us about mindset. Rachel, is there anything else you'd like to add in terms of challenges you notice your clients have when it comes to offers and talking about them?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the mindset side of things is definitely a big part of it. I think a lot of educators have that in common. But also, I think just literally having the time and space to step back and think about it. Because very often my experience is that people are so busy serving clients who are perhaps not quite the right clients and who are not perhaps willing to pay the rate that you would actually wish to be paid, means that you're just working so many hours that you just don't even really have time to think about it and to get that clarity and to try things out. And that's, part of what we're trying to achieve through this Make It Happen day, is to give you that kind of space and opportunity to work stuff through. We've called it Make It Happen because it's not just going to be us talking at you. We're going to get you actually doing things and making progress.
And there aren't many spaces for business owners to do that, really. I mean, I know we were at ITEFL earlier this year, and I grabbed some time with you and Ola and Lauren, and we have these like little huddle conversations, but this is an intentional space that's for business owners. It's not an academic space. We already know you're brilliant at the academics and that aspect of things. It's a space to help your business thrive, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Could you give us a little window into what you're going to be talking about? And before you do, I will say to folk who have joined us here live, and thank you so much for doing so, if you do have any other questions, now is your time to drop them in the comments, because we'll reserve a little bit of time before we finish today to tackle those. And yeah, if you're enjoying this live as well, let us know, because we'd love to see and receive the feedback in terms of this live series. So please interact with us while we just wrap up today. So what will you be talking about in your workshop that kicks off Make It Happen, Rachael?
So obviously I don't want to give away too much, but I probably already have, because we're going to be looking at the kinds of things that we've been discussing here. But I think what you'll get from it that you're not obviously going to be able to get from this conversation is that you will be there live. We will be there live, and we're going to help you actually work through kind of what you need to put into your offer to make it irresistible to your potential clients. And this is really important to us as educators, to us all, what you're going to put into it to make it really get those results that your clients want and need so badly.
That sounds absolutely terrific. And I will say, having been on my own business journey for my first year in business, getting clarity on my offer has made the biggest difference. And has had such a positive ripple effect in what I do. Once that clicked and I've got that really clear, I've been able to market it easier, been able to talk to people, been able to identify my ideal clients easier. It really is that foundation, that bedrock from which to build a business. At least I feel that way for me in my experience. And I wonder if folk watching today are seeking that clarity as well. So last chance to ask questions before we wrap up today. Please don't be shy. Please comment away and drop those in the chat. Where can people find out more about Make It Happen if they haven't already joined the list and they're not receiving the emails about the tickets, Rachael?
So we will be releasing the tickets to the general public on Monday at the very early bird price, but we wanted to give our waitlist people 48 hours kind of advance notice to get a ticket, because we had a huge response. We've got over 120 people, I think, on the waitlist, and we've got 95 places, and those places are going. So yeah, I would say if you're keen, get yourself onto the wait list now and snap one up in that 48-hour period. But there will then be another opportunity for the general public starting from Monday.
Brilliantly put. And those tickets are, I mean, it's not like we've got indefinite source of tickets. We do have limited seats based on the venue that we've booked. So once they're sold, they're sold. So make sure you're on that list so you get to take advantage of the very early bird offer and the fact that there is a limited number of tickets available. Lovely. Well, I don't think we have any questions today. I think people are just like feeling really inspired and probably ready to go and take some action and hopefully join us in Warsaw on the 4th of October.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks so much, Rachael, for joining us today. And thank you, everybody, for joining us in the chat. It's been lovely seeing your comments and interacting with you today. I hope you have a lovely Friday and weekend ahead.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody.
Bye.